Thank you for joining us at Marathon Stadium along with a crowd of about 28,000 people to see the match of the round, one of the matches of the year. Newcastle taking on Brisbane. Tremendous atmosphere. The Knights humbled by Canberra. They come back before their home crowd under the leadership of Paul Harrigan. And can they do it against Brisbane? Bill Peden in jumper 27 comes into the side. Adam Muir will start the game from the bench with a heavy bout of the flu. There's the Knights side. Season tickets only at the moment being allowed in. In other words, the gates to the general public have been closed. They did eclipse 32,000 here once upon a time, but that is no longer achievable for safety reasons. This is the blue and red army. Langer takes the Broncos out. Some changes to their lineup. This is a case of fourth place third today and Brisbane are fourth. O'Neill, Saylor, Renouf, Lockyer, Hancock, Walters, Langer, Lazarus, Driscoll, G, Ryan, Brett Green in 35. Darren Smith the back of the scrum. So Newcastle starts from left to right, and today, of course, without Matthew Johns. Adam Muir from the bench is a more recent withdrawal. But Matthew Johns is out of this side for Newcastle this afternoon. That is a body blow as Hancock is put down inches inside the touchline, and a penalty has been given against Ainsko. There's the new boy playing 5'8", Michael Egar. Broncos. First set of six, or in fact their second set. The first came to an abrupt ending. They've played the other two heavyweights in the competition so far, Canberra and Manly, and came away on the end of a fairly significant hiding. They'll be trying to rectify that today against the other heavyweight in the tournament.
Newcastle struggled against Canberra last Friday night, so they've had their problems against the top side. And if the Knights can win this particular game, the first mistake is made by Kevin Walters and cleaned up there. Darren Tracy will be quite an achievement for the Knights. Both Jamie Ainsko's had problems during the week. Robbie O'Davis pulled out last night. There was only a phone call this morning that put him back into the team. A less than ideal preparation.
So the Knights now just outside the 20-metre line, with McCormack working it off to the left. And that is Egar. Brought down on the 20-metre line, and McCormack uses the blind side. Ainsko gets a rebound. That is play on. The 17 for the Broncos. Darren Lockyer making ground down to the halfway line. And now they are able to turn it across the ground quickly. Hancock coming off the right wing. Peter Ryan dragged down right on the halfway line.
The one thing that Newcastle will need to watch is when a mistake is made or a changeover of possession occurs, the Broncos will always go to their backs. Straight away, they won't waste any time. They'll spread the football. Which Newcastle will have to get their defence spread as well.
Andrew G plays the ball. The Broncos now, they go across and pick up another front row forward, Glenn Lazarus, and now it's with Langer to go to the air. Getting underneath it is O'Davis. Pressure put on him by Renouf, and he takes him back into the in goal. O'Davis stretches out as if to say, I've got the ball in the field of play. That appeal has been denied. Line dropout. Davis claiming it's on the line. That actually would work against him. Andrew Johns with a very good drop kick. It's come down on the halfway line for the Broncos to take it back with Darren Lockyer. Playing in the centres, Michael Hancock on the wing. There's Andrew G. Dummies on the inside for Julian O'Neill, and then takes the play almost to the 20-metre line. John Driscoll is wearing the 9 shirt in this game today. Kevin Walters back after a fortnight's layoff. Across now for Alan Langer. And Lazarus tries to angle back in and get a pass on to Julian O'Neill, but he's been put away. 12 metres out from the line. No knock on there. Langer kicks and Hancock is chasing, and it goes in touch in goal. It's out to the 20-metre line for the restart.
Unfortunately for Newcastle, Ashley Gordon was not forced to play at the ball. Langer kicking purposefully for his winger, Michael Hancock. He was on the fly, but the bounce was a good one for Newcastle over the sideline.
So an impressive start by the Broncos as the penalty goes to Newcastle.
Paul Harrigan has been hurt in that tackle, the restart from the 20-metre line. He didn't get a real good head of steam up, as you can see, coming quite flat. Some strong defence there. It's hurt the big fella. And the referee penalising the Broncos for not getting up quickly enough.
The Johns finding the line. Newcastle's first penalty of the game. They've only beaten the Broncos once, and that was here in the corresponding round of last year. 11 meetings from memory and only one victory. As they go across to the left now, and Chris Joint, the Englishman, steps back into the Brisbane traffic zone. They go left once more, and Andrew Johns, minus his brother today, held 30 metres out from the line. The Knights, their opportunity to go on the attack now. This is Peden, almost through, just inside the 20-metre point. He had Robbie O'Davis running on his left. It's with Andrew Johns. He rolls it in for Nathan Barnes and Julian O'Neill. And it's a 20-metre tap to restart.
Quite a cautious start from both teams. We haven't seen too much enterprise with the football as yet. The kicking game hasn't been that successful for either side.
This is G. Now Saylor. On the left wing. Hancock on the right. Lockyer in the centres. Driscoll, an Australian schoolboy. 42 metres out from the Brisbane line now as Peter Ryan runs a decoy off to the right, and they come to the left to Green, and he gives an ordinary pass. Newcastle come away with it on the halfway line, and McCormack is dragged down by Driscoll. O'Davis a dummy half on for Chris Joint. And Joint 42 metres out from the Broncos line. In front of a very big crowd, probably in the high 20,000s. Slight breeze probably favouring Newcastle in the first half. Andrew Johns on and away from Egar, finding the centre, Barnes.
Steve Renouf limping out of that attempted tackle. As Andrew Johns calls it to the left-hand side of the field, throws the dummy, goes through, looking for support, can't find any.
Newcastle now on the last tackle. Ainscough off the left foot, rolls it in, Darren Smith. Darren Smith read it and then gets forced in goal.
Yeah, excellent chase there from the Newcastle side, led by Darren Tracy. Been some ordinary first-up misses by both teams in defence. Jamie Ainscough in the little left, kick through, locked forward, Darren Smith cleaning up nicely, but he was taken by his opposite man.
A couple of close decisions for the referee to make concerning defending sides. Were they or were they not in their own end goal? He turned down both appeals as Bill Peden plays it now. 21 metres out. McCormack swings it to the right. Harrigan. One up high, one down low. Harrigan already battered by an earlier high tackle. Egar working an angle and then put away is Paul Marquette. Newcastle looking dangerous. McCormack away, and Marquette gets it on. It's away from Egar to Johns. They go out to Grogan. Grogan, he had an opportunity. The pass was ordinary, and referee Manson has ruled a double knock on.
There's some nice touches early in this game from Billy Peden. Here he is again backing up. That's Marquette to Egar. The long cutout pass wasn't well directed to Grogan. Pretty ordinary attempt on that. I thought that could just about have been play on. I don't think Renouf touched the football.
Brisbane now. Ball out in front of O'Neill. They stretch it quickly from the scrum that went down 10 metres out from their own line. And this is Lockyer, 27 metres away from the Brisbane line. Hancock takes a dummy half play. Hancock struggling to play it. I thought that might have brought a penalty. He was up ready to go on with it and got pulled down again.
Let him up, boys.
Darren Smith just beyond the 40-metre line. A topsy-turvy start to his career with the Broncos for Darren. But he's holding down the number 13 these days.
Very bunched, the Brisbane side, as Langer looks for some space in behind the front line. Robbie O'Davis read it beautifully. That's an ordinary sign for the Broncos at the moment, so early in the game. They're not getting any width in their attack.
Now that is Grogan. He's left the right of the ground to work on the left, and a penalty has gone to Newcastle. It's against the Broncos marker. He's indicating that he didn't stand directly in front.
This was Kevin Walters there at first, marker, not getting in front of the man and kicking at the football. That's a pretty good kick for touch there from Andrew Johns. Finds touch 22 metres out, so some good field position early for the Knights.
Just looking at Robbie O'Davis, he's had one run and he's taking a while to recover from it. As the ball is played by Peden, and McCormack does a bit of dancing before using Andrew Johns, and Johns, their playmaker, out of this play, so they take it ahead with Tracy. Darren Tracy just outside the 10-metre. Got a pass off. McCormack on. Andrew Johns across, looking to link up. But Darren Smith is there with Alan Langer to put him away. 18 metres away from the Broncos line. Through O'Davis. Long ball out there for Ainscough. Question mark on the pass. The pass comes back in from the winger, Ashley Gordon. And referee Manson is going to put a scrum down for the knock-on.
Oh, there was 6 again signalled, but Jamie Ainscough is knocked on after cleaning up the football. That was definitely a forward pass for mine. He did well, Hancock, to regather position, and there's the knock-on there. Lost control of the football. It would have been 6 again for the home side.
Yeah, but they do get the feed, with the Broncos actually knocking on first, and here's Barnes now. 11 metres away from the Broncos line. O'Davis operating in the back line. This is Gordon, or Grogan. Barnes, Johns, Marquette off at the decoy. Tracy, they've got numbers! They might need them, they don't! Tracy brings the blue and red army to their feet.
Well, they've had all the early attack, Newcastle, and they've finally converted that pressure into points. And as Ray pointed out, the secret to this try was the amount of numbers they had out there. A heap of bodies in motion, plenty of decoys. And Darren Tracy straight through the tackle of Alan Langer, then skipped out of another tackle. Has every right to get up and promote the football if he wasn't held. You'll see here Alan Langer, a pretty ordinary attempt, bad position in the tackle. Kevin Walters missed as well, and Darren Tracy reaches out for his 6th of the season.
So Darren Tracy gets his 7th career try. He's been probably one of those players that has been offering the depth that we refer to the Newcastle club for so long, that now he's recognised as a permanent fixture in first grade. Andrew Johns, 146 this year, 2nd on the ladder. This kick coming around, so Andrew Johns adds a further 2 points. Newcastle 6, Brisbane 0. Another version of the try.
See there a couple of players going through. They're not shepherding because there is too much space between them and the defence. So that's play on. It did put the defence off, and a very bad miss there from Alan Langer. You expect better.
Brisbane's Julian O'Neill then restarts the 2nd chapter of this game. Grogan. McCormack out from dummy half, but Brisbane inside the 10.
The man under most pressure out there, Michael Egar, is doing a very good job for the Knights. He's come in for Matthew Johns, which was a big blow for the home side, but he's giving good options to Andrew Johns. He's getting on the other side of the ruck, and the attack is flowing quite well, being able to go both sides.
Andrew Johns finding the line with another good kick, just 5 metres from the halfway. Bobby McCormack taking the tap, and Harrigan to the halfway line. 2 Broncos surging in. As Harrigan plays it once more, and it goes through from Johns and over for Joint, and he dummied. I thought he should have given it because the Broncos only had Michael Hancock and there were 4 Knights. Tracy now. Ainscough is with it. Rushes from 1. Unloads for Ashley Gordon. He angles back infield. Loses his footing on the 30-metre line. McCormack now. Away it comes from Peden and around the back for Egar, and then on for Barnes. And Barnes gets a pass back for Egar. Now for Johns. Johns, he tries to get away, but Andrew G dives on the loose ball. Saylor. Broncos likely to spread it on this tackle. They didn't, as Lazarus succumbs to the tackle in the centre of the park. 43 metres out from his own line.
And Ray, you know the Broncos are off their game a little bit when they don't have the capacity to spread the ball wide from a changeover. They're not getting people out wide.
Driscoll now. Off for Peter Ryan on the right, and he loses the ball. It will be a knock-on. It'll be a Newcastle loose head and feed. There's their relativity on the Winfield Cup table. 3rd and 4th. As Newcastle win the scrum, and Barnes is 41 metres out from his own line. He's been the centre of an attraction from a couple of Sydney clubs, Nathan Barnes, together with his centre partner, Jamie Ainscough, as they look towards next year. Robbie McCormack is 5 metres into Broncos area as O'Davis chimes in and goes on for Andrew Johns, and a long pass. I didn't think a knock-on, although Manson says there was. His rule, it came off the hand of Jamie Ainscough. Very hard to tell from this far away, but it appears that it has come off the hand on the replay. 4-3 the handling errors. Newcastle on the wrong side of that statistic. Broncos have, during the representative season, started poorly on more than one occasion as they come across the ground, and Lockyer links up with Renoff, and now, well, this has got to bring a penalty, and it'll be against Egar. O'Davis is in the middle of it. The Broncos and the Knights come together. There hasn't really been a punch thrown yet, apart from a skirmish that is forming its own breakaway.
Yes, Julian O'Neill took great exception to the tackle. As he and Robbie O'Davis looked like starting something that was going to develop. Fortunately, it didn't. Clumsy tackle there. Michael Egar grabbing the leg of the tackle player. Along with Robbie O'Davis, it ended up being a dangerous tackle. I wouldn't say a spear tackle, but definitely a dangerous tackle. And that's why the penalty has been awarded. 1795 award, sponsored by Boots Plumbing Supplies. You see here Robbie O'Davis getting involved in the tackle. Egar goes low, and then they turn him. There you see Julian O'Neill, 2 number 1s coming together. That's about as far as it went. Newcastle workers come on Saturday against the London Road, the great man Chuchu Tarugi. Doors open at 7:30. The band kicks off today. Entry totally free. Why not stick around for Newcastle? These fellows milling around now are players that have come in from other parts of the field to get involved. Manson's one of those referees that would hate to send a player off. I think most of them do, but Manson in particular.
Brisbane out of all of that. The penalty is reaffirmed by David Manson. The tap taken by John Driscoll, and G goes ahead. He offloads immediately for Peter Ryan, and there's a skirmish now. Paul Harrigan and Andrew G are going like two heavyweights, and Harrigan let go about 5 or 6. Well, there's no love lost between these two. G got Harrigan early with a high shot.
Yes, it's not the first time that they've come together, and I would imagine that both of these players will be dispatched to the sin bin. Paul Harrigan has got personal out there a couple of times this afternoon, and that's not a good thing. There he is, a swinging arm, little push from G. And Paul Harrigan did land the 3 or 4. But I would say we'll see both of them leave the field. Here's Harrigan getting 10 minutes now. He's off to the sin bin.
That's the 4th time Harrigan has been sent to the sin bin this year. It's not a good statistic for the captain, but Andrew G gets 10 as well. Claret around the forehead of Andrew G. As Brisbane get another penalty. And quite definitely Harrigan was the provocateur on that occasion. It was a square up from earlier on. Lazarus plays it dangerously close to the line. And this is Green. Driscoll looking for his captain, looking for the call. Langer goes around behind Saylor. Walters is pulled down in a desperate tackle there. They come back to the left. Lockyer. Centre of the park. 12 plays 12 at the moment. Walters out for Renouf. Renouf. Too big. Too strong. He didn't need any pace. He just put Jamie Ainscough away as though he was swatting flies.
The first time the Brisbane side have been in the Newcastle 20-metre zone, they've been able to score a very soft try. Steve Renouf is pushing straight through Jamie Ainscough. There was nothing on out there. It was 2 on 2. Left him in his wake. Class effort here by Steve Renouf. Jamie Ainscough will be very disappointed. The big fend in the face there was very effective. A chance now for the Knights, for the Broncos to join the Knights on 6 points.
Arguably the best centre in Australia today is Steve Renouf. Doesn't probably look very big, but he's a very strong man, Steve Renouf, and Jamie Ainscough is no small fry. Renouf reminded Jamie Ainscough that he might have been getting plenty of raps in recent weeks, but I am still king. Or prince, I think is the word they have handed on down from Reg Gasnier and company. Friday's referee. Gonzo's friend. 20 metres out. 10 in, Julian O'Neill. With the vocal Knights crowd right behind him, O'Neill. It's wide. Brings a roar from the Novocastrians. But 6 points to 4. Newcastle over Brisbane.
Both tries in this game so far have been scored by one ordinary tackle or missed tackle. This time it was Ainscough, the recipient. At the other end it was Alan Langer getting run over.
Most interesting game. It's had just about everything. It's had a fair share of mistakes, and there's another one. And Manson will put a scrum down. Lazarus said it was raked out. Let's share the anguish with Lazarus, and he's right. No doubt he's right. Scrum won by Newcastle. If Lazarus was right, they should have been enjoying a penalty, the Broncos, and Newcastle They can't convert. That was a golden opportunity for them.
Well, both sides have been very scrappy in this game. Not valuing possession at all. This is before a tackle has been committed. Brett Grogan, was a good pass to him from Ainscough. It just popped straight out. Whoever can get their act together is going to go a long way towards winning this football game, because at the moment they're doing plenty of things wrong.
An unhappy start to the game for the winger on the right, Brett Grogan. And I noticed another exchange between Ainscough and Renouf. They really are keeping a close eye upon one another as they work on the short side. This is the second rower, Green. Another example of the vast talent that Wayne Bennett has underneath his top 13, particularly in the back row department. Langer puts it low, and here's Grogan now. He tries to stand up Wendell Saylor. He went dangerously close to the sideline. O'Davis gets into dummy half and uses Barnes to take it back for Driscoll to make the tackle.
Well, I think if Grogan had gone over the sideline on that occasion, Malcolm really would have been getting the hook out, looking for another winger.
The big toe rope?
Oh, no doubt at all.
McCormack now, back for Joint to try and push away from Smithy does, and Langery does, and then it's with Ainscough, and Ainscough, he has got nasty. He thrust a player away. You can see the anger on his face. And now a penalty to Newcastle. It's holding against the Broncos, against Johnny Driscoll. Halfway line, centre of the ground. As Andrew Johns is the attacker, Driscoll the tackler, and he hangs on too long for the likings of David Manson. 4-3 the penalties in favour of Brisbane. Two of the big men are in the sin bin to think about it. McCormack taking the tap. And that's Paul Marquette.
That's a great run there. He's picked up 5-6 metres carrying Brisbane players as Johns finds Peden on the inside. Can't beat the tackle this time. Johnny Driscoll.
So they put together a set play, and Andrew Johns puts in a little kick, and players hit the upright, but Wendell Saylor is forced in goal.
Did a very good job, Wendell Saylor. A kick early in the tackle count is not something you expect on your own line. Plenty of decoy runners crisscross. You see Saylor just in behind where he should be. He was able to react well enough there. Barnes nearly taking the post. Davis coming up with the good hold on Saylor.
But Newcastle come back with the football. O'Davis. He probably shouldn't be in this game. In fact, I think it had been decided that he wouldn't. And it's pretty obvious that Robbie is just doing his best, becoming a link between backs and forwards sometimes, and occasionally making the extra man. Away from McCormack and on for Johns, and inside for Egar. And he's brought down by Green. Centre of the ground, 19 out. Can they get it over the line again? Marquette did well. Johns supports. Barnes offers the decoy. Grogan goes for the corner. Grogan, he got it away. And Johns, he gets it down. It's a try. Newcastle get their second try. Well, Brett Grogan made up for his mistakes in one fell swoop.
Yes, that will do his confidence a world of good. Excellent work again from Paul Marquette. He's been able to offload under pressure a lot of times in this game. A good take from Grogan, taking on Wendell Saylor. The big step inside, attracts Renouf as well, and Andrew Johns stayed alive. Julian O'Neill trying desperately to stop him from putting the ball down. Couldn't do so. He's done well here, the halfback from Newcastle, to stay alive. It'll be his third touch of the football in one movement. That's great stuff. Here's Grogan. Good evasion, back inside. Does he get the ball down? Yes, he does.
Just watching that, it's been a fine effort by Julian O'Neill. An effort that probably went unrecognised. But I do feel happy for this man, Brett Grogan. We'd only finished talking about the unhappiness of the start of this game for him. And I've got to say this, he doesn't lack confidence. He's taken Wendell Saylor on twice and tried to beat him on the outside in a corridor about 2 metres wide. He's obviously got no respect for names. Good luck to him. Here's Andrew Johns, 5 metres in, 20 metres out. The chance to make it 12-4. Breeze is just across the flight path of this kick, aiding it, but across it. There it goes. He hits it gently, really. He didn't work on it at all. Oh, he's a craftsman. Newcastle 12, Brisbane 4. He's a beautiful player, is he not? Here it is again, the kick. Just a nice slow back swing.
We should learn from that, Ray. We should learn from that.
And Neil, his kickoff bounces straight up into the waiting arms of Grogan.
There's been a change for Newcastle. Adam Muir, who was kept out of the Friday Test match against New Zealand with a virus, has come off the bench now. Billy Peden has been given a rest. Paul Harrigan and Andrew G about to come back into the fray. And Alan Cann is also on the sideline, so a lot of player movement since that try has been scored.
Yes, Alan Cann has actually come back instead of Andrew G. And Paul Harrigan is back in the battle again. Here he is, Harrigan. So the complement of 13 has been completed as we go back for Andrew Johns to kick and send it down straight to Julian O'Neill. A good chase by Newcastle. 1, 2, 3, 4. 8 of them followed the kick down the ground. And that's the reason Julian O'Neill is under such extreme pressure. Kick is only as good as its chase, and that was a perfect example. Barnes continues to work hard from marker with Tracy, who's probably been near enough to their best player apart from Andrew Johns. Penalty now.
Darren Tracy's had a word to the touch judge about something that went on in the tackle. Some silly stuff here. You really can't allow things to get to you in a game. You've got to maintain your concentration. We saw Harrigan and G lose theirs earlier. That cost them time in the bin. Now Wendell Sailor here. There's not too much in the tackle. Just pushing out there, Wendell Sailor. Tracy didn't like it too much, but let's play football.
Oh, Darren Smith has made an awful mistake on the first play. He doesn't need us to tell him about it.
No, but he's had 26,000 tell him about it.
Newcastle come up with the scrum victory. A most unexpected scrum. O'Davis into his back line. Picked off by Michael Hancock. Ainscough tries to beat the markers. O'Davis, he's put down just outside the 40-metre line. Manson went for the whistle. I thought he was going to penalise McCormack. So Newcastle have used up 3 tackles and they've gone nowhere. Andrew Johns supplies it wide for his captain, and Harrigan takes them on himself. McCormack on for Andrew Johns, and then for Chris Joint. A flick pass for Ainscough. Ainscough, a penalty. Obstruction is the ruling.
There's no doubt there, a shepherd there, Jamie Ainscough, running behind one of his players. I think you'll find it was Adam Muir. Chris Joint on a couple of occasions has had players outside him unmarked. On this occasion, he throws the ball back inside, and there's Muir getting between Ainscough and an attempted tackle.
The Broncos. Half-time not so far away. 5 metres into Newcastle's area, trailing 12-4. 2 tries to 1.
It's a very ordinary 10 metres in defence. David Manson really needs to get both sides back as Darren Smith swivels in a tackle, can't find support. Peter Ryan goes into dummy half, finds Green.
Brett Green. As Langer rolls it in behind, O'Davis comes up with the ball. Displaying a skill that all fullbacks really need to possess. How to pick up the rolling ball while under pressure at the same time.
And you won't get more practice in any game than that against Brisbane. One of the main armaments in Alan Langer's game. Robbie Davis has been very awake to that. He's done his homework on Langer's kicking game. He's been there every time the little one has gone through behind the front line.
Tracy playing it now, and a penalty against the Broncos. Well, Langer's been called over as the captain. Kevin Walters is the culprit, and Harrigan's been called out as well. Again as the captain.
That's a pretty good piece of refereeing from David Manson, getting both captains out just to, if he's upset with a certain aspect of the game and it's from both teams as it is, infringements around the play the ball area, he should just give the general warning and say that he won't put up with it for too much longer.
Harrigan just carrying on his conversation with Manson. So the Newcastle Knights sweeping the ball across the ground, and Paul Marquette is taken in the defence of Smith and Langer. And Harrigan ran. I guess he was the decoy, and McCormack went to give it and then took the tackle.
Yeah, he should have got the football, Harrigan. Big man when they wind up like that. You've got to take advantage of it. That second run wasn't anywhere near as effective. He had to get back as Egar juggles the football. It's gone backwards. Finds Andrew Johns behind. A little bit of space there. It's closed by Green.
32 metres out from the Broncos line. Muir winds it up. Ball out the back to be dived on by Chris Joint, and now McCormack sweeps it over for Andrew Johns. They go to the air. There's a good chase on it. It came off the hands of Newcastle. No need for the excitement.
An excellent kick there from Andrew Johns. The ball arriving the same time as the chasers. Robbie O'Davis was the player who knocked on for Newcastle. Grogan was there to pick up the scraps, but the referee in good position saw the knock on and has given the ball to the Brisbane side. Here's Saylor getting out of dummy half. Pretty good run there. Only tackled 20 out in front of his posts.
12-4. Newcastle over Brisbane. Match of the round. In front of a packed house at Marathon Stadium. They come back to the left, and Langer goes across to Kevin Walters, and Kevin loses his footing, as so many players have today. I can't quite understand why. The ground, in fact, looking rather barren as Renouf is put away.
Saylor very disappointed he didn't receive the football there. They'd created the overlap on the short side. Julian O'Neill gets a good torpedo kick away over the head of Robbie O'Davis. Bounces twice before he cleans up.
He's got plenty of time. Here comes the chase now, led by Alan Cann. They go over to Ainscough, and Ainscough is put away by Hancock. And Michael has come off his wing several times to interrupt the aspirations of Jamie Ainscough. McCormack now, back in the centre of the park, 10 metres from the halfway line. Tracy. McCormack keeps up the wrap over to the right. A short ball from Joint to Marquette. The ball put down. Joint knocks on. No use looking at the touch, judge, because he was obscured by the frame of Chris Joint.
With very time left on the clock before the half-time break, this isn't the kind of play you want to come up with in your own territory. Good chance here for Brisbane to put something on before half-time. They trail by 8. They'd love to get close.
As Manson telling Langer he wants the ball put more in the tunnel. He must believe in the tooth fairy. Here's Kevin Walters through a big gap. Here comes Renouf. He's off for the corner. Now Hancock. Hancock. He scores. He's coming around to put it down and give his kicker a chance to pick up the 6-pointer. Beautiful backline play. Kevin Walters breaking into a gap. Renouf and Hancock capping off a beautiful backline move.
And Kevin Walters doing a great job here. Very simple. A little dummy. Put the defenders in two minds. Barnes came up with a grab. It was ineffective. Renouf looms on the outside. Grogan coming from the far wing. So too O'Davis there. Grogan beaten by the Hancock run. Beats another couple of players inside Egar. Coach Malcolm really will be extremely disappointed with the efforts of Marquette and Joint in handing the football over to the Broncos around the halfway mark with no time left on the clock before the break. Hancock's made them pay. Did a great job there, Hancock, to improve the position for the conversion.
Talking of that, and O'Neill makes no mistake. So the scoreline, 12-10 in favour of Newcastle. Close to half-time. John Plath on the bench there with Andrew G now. Only seconds before the break as Andrew Johns sends it down for Glenn Lazarus. Lazarus pulled down by Harrigan just outside the 20-metre line. 12 points to 10. Malcolm really will be, as Peter said, spitting chips at half-time. They could have taken a 12-4 lead into the dressing rooms. There's O'Neill in from the back, and then supported by Lockyer it is. Driscoll able to run quite a way before reaching the defence, and then it went through from Saylor to Ryan, and then for Lockyer. They've got numbers. They needed a good pass. Now they lose the ball, and Ainscough came up with it. Ainscough is tackled, and the siren sounds for half-time. So, 40 minutes of rugby league that had everything. And Newcastle goes to the break leading 12 points to 10. We'll take a break with the players and be back for the second half in a little while from now. Welcome back. Second half now of the Newcastle-Brisbane game from Marathon Stadium. With Newcastle holding a slender lead. One that could have been a much more comfortable lead for them, but that was eroded by their own misfortune, their own mistakes just in front of the break.
Both sides were pretty ordinary first half, Ray. You must say, too many mistakes. They didn't control the football, and we can see that from the times that they've been able to hold it through for 6 tackles. Only 4 on 3 occasions. And the missed tackles, 17-11. That's an enormous amount for the Broncos as Ainscough takes the 32 out. So really whatever team can get their ball control together and their defence right, they'll win this game.
Harrigan spent 10 minutes in the sin bin in the first half. He's been involved in a couple of nasty incidents. A kick down the ground off the boot of Andrew Johns saw a tackle come in. It wasn't late. And Michael Hancock is put down by 3 of the Newcastle Knights. It brings a roar from the crowd as Julian O'Neill is able to get it outside the 20-metre line. And John Driscoll, a dummy half, unloads for Alan Cann, who came off the fresh reserves bench today. Newcastle without Matthew Johns in particular. Adam Muir started the match from the bench as well. No Mark Glanville in the side. He's out injured. As Glenn Lazarus was brought down a few metres on his own side of the halfway. Back now for Alan Langer to kick down towards the wing occupied by Ashley Gordon. Talking of wingers, Paul Hoff was unable to take the field for the Brisbane side today, as Gordon was lassoed and brought down to ground by the number 11 Peter Ryan. Another example of Robbie O'Davis being other than healthy today. Apparently a phone call was made to tell Robbie, look, you're going to have to play. He wasn't going to, but it's not the real Robbie O'Davis we're watching. Courageous, yes, but not the classical fullback that represented Queensland and Australia.
Some strong defence there on Paul Marquette, and the news coming out of the Brisbane sheds is not good. Andrew G has a broken bone in his hand as Muir gets a good ball to Ainscough. Got Gordon, back to Ainscough. Keeps it alive, back to Gordon, who's got some space down the sideline and support.
And inside the pass for Tracy. He gets his second try. That is sensational.
That's unbelievable stuff. It was almost slow motion down the sideline. The interplay between Jamie Ainscough and Ashley Gordon. Tremendous work here. The long pass from Andrew Johns. Lovely ball there from Adam Muir over the top. Ainscough to Gordon. Gordon to Ainscough. Ainscough to Gordon. And off he goes down the sideline. Wrong's foots. Michael Hancock and Darren Tracy, a great job to be in support on the inside. Wendell Saylor can't stop the try being scored, so the perfect start to the second half for the Knights. And good ball movement. And the Ainscough here, getting the pass away. And Ashley Gordon, very fleet of foot. A fine ball inside for Tracy.
An unbelievable try scored by Newcastle. There's Andrew Johns. He hasn't had a simple kick. And this one doesn't get any simpler. 20 metres in. 20 metres out, and he strikes it perfectly. Now, they're smiling again. 18 to 10. This was the try. Just came out of nothing, and then Gordon.
Just have a look at one of these Brisbane players coming across in number 17. He got wiped out. Unlucky by one of his own players. Didn't help proceedings as Chris Joint. Tackled fairly high there by Langer and Green, but they bring him to ground, 15 out.
McCormack now for Barnes.
Just saying before that try was scored, Ray, that Andrew G won't be back in this game. Broken bone in his hand.
Davis in from the back, keeps it alive. That is Tracy. What a game he's having. Johns now sweeps it across the park. 17 is eager. Renoff makes the tackle. Barnes comes away from dummy half. Renoff trails across from marker. Not required. Can makes the tackle. They go back to a wide blindside, and Johns kicks. Hancock falling back. O'Neill on his own 10-metre line. Gordon and Ainscough combining to make the tackle. 25 metres out from the Broncos line. Newcastle have only beaten the Broncos once in 11 meetings. And that was in this corresponding match last year at Marathon Stadium.
Well, they trail by 8 at the moment, and they've got plenty to do as Wendell Saylor gets outside. Barnes comes up with a good tackle. No, he needs help from Egar. Very strong run from Saylor.
43 metres out then from the Newcastle line. From Kevin Walters across for Alan Can. Can wrestled down under 4 Newcastle defencemen. A quick play the ball. And Driscoll showing it to Lazarus before taking them on himself again. Langer just casting an eye across the defence line. Now he gets the kick in. It came off Brisbane and Newcastle, and then back for Newcastle. That all happened so rapid fire, it's pretty hard to form an assessment of it. Tracy again, shoulders away from Green. Johns, Joint. Back now, McCormack can't handle, Johns does. Langer comes in. There's 2 out of the line now, Smith and Langer, as the Knights try to push the ball to the right, but Harrigan goes to ground as McCormack's pass is forward to Johns. 5 tackles gone. Ainscough comes in for the kick. O'Neill couldn't get a hand on it. Well, he did, but it went backwards. He couldn't get security on it. Came up with it through Kevin Walters, and now Wendell Saylor. Plenty of bodies in motion. Can. Round the legs is Marquette. Joint over the top with Tracy. And now Lazarus. The 2 big men come together, Lazarus and Harrigan. Kangaroo Tour colleagues. As the Broncos go across inside their own 20-metre line, they find Lockyer. Another youngster who hails from Roma. In fact, I think you'll find that Green does as well. Hometown of Willie Kahn, the hometown of Arthur Beetson. A big hello to all those people up there in that fine rugby league producing centre of Queensland. Gordon is the dummy half here. Joint is ready to take it ahead. Takes the tackle of Driscoll and goes down underneath that. Together with Can.
Davis in trouble, Ray. Was hurt in that last tackle as McCormack ducks under one. He's down on the halfway line and struggling to get back into position as Ashley Gordon scoots out of dummy half and makes a good 10 metres.
So McCormack looks for Andrew Johns. He's off to the right. With it now. Muir gives them a decoy. They go for a second man play. Played out there by Egar. Back now for Johns. He puts the kick high. They're all onside and Julian O'Neill sails above them. Walters, Saylor trying to break through himself. Wouldn't be the first time he's run the length of the field in that situation to score a try for the Broncos. This is Brett Green. Hancock again. As I made the point earlier, in the representative part of our season, the Broncos, they've fallen off their form. Start to several matches has been ordinary. As referee Manson just calls a halt. There's a touch judge come in. It's regarding the tackle on Driscoll. It's Adam Muir that's been called out. And Manson is saying keep them down. He's acting on the touch judge report. Here's Driscoll.
Oh, gee, that's a dusty decision, that one. Took a long time to come in, the touch judge.
Julian O'Neill's kick. We'll see the tap taken 33 metres out.
Number 27 is on for Brisbane, John Plath.
John Plath has gone on. And John Driscoll comes off. And Brisbane, 23 metres out from the Newcastle line. As Alan Can takes the first play and he makes good metres. He's able to promote the ball. And John Plath, with a weaving run, has now got it within 7 metres of the line. Can, Langer, across now for Walters. He's got O'Neill with him. He tries to keep his hands free as he takes on the defence. Langer again. Through from Lockyer. Renoff's on the outside, but the ball goes over the sideline.
Oh, great tackle out there. Tremendous tackle. Cover of defence for Newcastle. Cut out pass. Grogan there just getting Renoff and forced the ball loose. Looked like a try was on. The young wingers really come up with some big plays after a couple of early mistakes.
You might be wondering why Newcastle fed the scrum. He ruled the pass, the infield pass from Renoff, as being forward. So he ruled on the first breach on that occasion, though the ball went over the sideline off the boot of one of the Newcastle players. This is Muir, and a penalty goes to Newcastle. He's put him in the sin bin. Wendell Saylor is the first to suffer the wrath. Manson's not happy with something Lazarus has said. He wants Lazarus to toe the line. Manson warned both captains earlier.
Another change out there for Brisbane is Scott Blacker in 15 out on the wing. Driscoll's left the field. Andrew Johns now will find touch in the Brisbane half.
Comic taking the tap on the halfway line, and Harrigan taking it ahead, trying to take Alan Can with him. McCormack on. Johns, second man, away to Joint. Joint is put down by Langer. The Brisbane cause becoming a little bit more urgent now. Tracy. 3 tries to 2. Converted try added to the half-time total. They're at it again, Ainscough and Gordon. Ainscough plays it inside the 20-metre line. Across from Johns, a long pass, and Muir stuck his hand out and knocks on. Muir is saying, I didn't touch it.
We're saying that to Andrew Johns. Andrew obviously wanted the pass to be let go. Nathan Barnes could just about have come up with that play if it hadn't have been touched by Muir. The important thing for Brisbane is that they trail by 8, so they need to score twice. They've got plenty of time on the clock, but they're just not playing well enough. A great deal of confidence and fluency in their attack at the moment.
Walters scurries out from dummy half to be put away by Joint. 15 metres on the Brisbane side of halfway. This is Peter Ryan taken on by Ainscough and Joint. Put down heavily near the halfway line. John Platt came on to replace John Driscoll, and Scott Blacker is out there as well for Brisbane. Langer inside, he hears the call from Alan Cann. And 5 tackles have gone now for Brisbane. They're 40 metres away from their opponent's line as Langer sidesteps McCormack and puts the kick high. A test for Robbie O'Davis, but he was equal to it. He passed the test with flying colours. This is Grogan. Forced back and underneath that tackle from Cann and Lazarus. Now Gordon, the other winger. That line is the 20-metre line. Newcastle's end. Marquette got through the tackle of Alan Langer, but John Plath is there. And Newcastle getting a reserve ready.
Well, that's Robbie Ross on the sideline as Harrigan gets picked up, gets a ball away to Andrew Johns. Good pass here to Nathan Barnes. He's got around his man and finds Grogan.
Grogan had little area to work in, but there he is again, chancing his arm. Newcastle come across for Andrew Johns to sidestep Peter Ryan, and then he rolls it over the sideline 30 metres out from the Brisbane line. Well, Davis comes from the field, and that doesn't surprise. And Robbie Ross, a very competent fullback, goes into the side. He can play in pretty much any position in the back line. No fullback back on this occasion. It would have been an opportunity for Brisbane to kick. Not the first time they've done it from a scrum on their own end of the park, particularly with Ross only just out there.
That's why it's very important for the blindside winger. That time it was Grogan to be ready for that. He's got to be covering in behind the scrum. There's a knock-on found against Brisbane once again. Darren Smith blowing up to the touch judge. And Chris Joint. It's the accolades of his teammates.
Just looking at Paul Harrigan as we watch the replay of this knock-on called by David Manson. Harrigan gathered his forwards together. He embraced them and encouraged them to give him something more. Barnes plays it now, 35 out from the line. Johns it is with the ball. He was herded back to go to the right. The pass was suspect. And now, was there a knock on? Manson said no from Egar. Joint is with it. 25 metres out from the Newcastle line, from the Brisbane line. The Knights, another opportunity. Johns over for Harrigan. And there's something we'd like to see more of from Paul Harrigan. Take it up, draw them in, little hit and spin, keep them guessing. Tracy, 15 metres out from the Broncos line. Plenty of personnel involved in the tackle. The last tackle is with us now. Johns looking for Ainscough. O'Neill is in a race, but it's over the dead ball line.
Oh, Adam Muir nearly got the bounce that he wanted. Julian O'Neill willing the ball over the dead ball line. The Newcastle player got his hand to it, but he just couldn't get it down in the field of play. Close thing again there for Brisbane. They get the restart.
The official attendance here at Marathon Stadium today, 29,359.
Up and put away by Andrew Johns. And now Brett Green. 30 metres out from the Broncos line. Newcastle have got them where they want them. 8 points in front of them on the scoreboard and got them playing the major part of their time out of their own territory. Langer dwarfed and put down by a couple of the big Newcastle forwards.
And that's the kind of defence that has to continue on Alan Langer. He's been subdued out there. The side around him hasn't controlled the football. That's made it difficult for him. As Peter Ryan finds a bit of space, gets through another tackle.
The pass inside to Walters was forward. That's bad luck for Peter Ryan. His effort was very good. But then the handoff pass definitely goes forward.
A good bust here. Wrong foot's Tracy. That's on Andrew Johns, but the pass back inside to Kevin Wallace, definitely forward.
Chris Jointer's about to leave the field. He doesn't know it. But Bill Peden is to go on. This is Egar. Standing in a very big pair of shoes. Those normally occupied by Matthew Johns, who didn't play today. Barnes steps away from one tackle, is taken in the centre of the park as Joint comes from the ground to join O'Davis now.
Is that a tremendous game? Ooh.
Wow, this is going to bring a penalty. Well, Harrigan has been on the end of plenty of high stuff today. And the crowd, they're willing a dismissal.
Well, it was a high shot from Peter Ryan on Paul Harrigan. Kevin Walters was the low man. He will be penalised 48 out from his own line, and the referee just telling Ryan to keep them down again.
David Manson refuses to be refereed. He's a brave man here at the Marathon Stadium. Their captain has been knocked over a couple of times by high tackles. Manson refuses to be refereed from the sideline.
The decision was the right one. It wasn't a send-off offence. It went up off the top of the ball, up around the head area, and deserving of a penalty. As Harrigan again lines up, so he's okay.
Johns now, dummied on the inside. I'm not sure who to, because there was nobody there. And the ball played by Bill Peden, back for Andrew Johns, and across now. And this is Egar. Gordon. Back towards the centre of the park. Langer and Walters required to make quite a few tackles. As Johns goes around, he looks for Ainscough, who finds Grogan, and Grogan is pulled down. Just inside the 20-metre line. This is the last tackle. And Johns goes across the ground. They're all onside, including Gordon. He bats the ball down. Egar flicks the ball in, but he's into touch. The turnover.
Tremendous work there from Michael Hancock. It was a good kick. All the chasers were onside, but Hancock was able to come up with the tackle. Right across the other side of the field. Ball knocked back by Gordon. Egar cleaned up, and Hancock shows his strength.
Lazarus. Lockyer now, just outside the 20-metre line. Wendell Saylor about to come back out of the sin bin as Green is wrapped up. 18 points to 10 in favour of the home side. Langer, a catch and a pass in one motion, then Lockyer did well under pressure. O'Neill comes back to the 20. Smith went back to put himself onside and then kicks it out on the full. Things not looking all that good for Brisbane. Time is starting to get away from them.
The one thing about Brisbane is that they can score points quickly. If Newcastle can contain Alan Langer and Kevin Walters, they'll win the game. Good tackle there from Steve Renouf on Michael Egar.
There's Tracy now, angling towards the corner, then Barnes and McCormack handle, and then Egar gets a pass from McCormack. The ball goes to ground, and it's a penalty. It was knocked out, according to Manson, by Brisbane, and one of their players in an offside position fell on it.
This came off the hand of Darren Smith, ruling by the referee. Andrew Johns getting the football, but I think the cool heads will prevail and they'll kick for goal. Beautiful pass from Robbie McCormack. Egar running into the hole. He's looking to keep the ball going. It's unfortunate for Brisbane that the player was just about forced to dive on the ball. There's the beautiful pass from McCormack. Egar throws the ball out. The referee said that it came off the headgeared player. Aaron Smith cleaned up in an offside position.
So what looked like a flick pass out the back, a desperate pass from Egar, in reality was the ricochet effect of Darren Smith's hand in the tackle. Now Andrew Johns to put them 10 points in front. And can Brisbane come back from that? He's only 15 metres out as he takes this penalty shot. He keeps his record perfect. 20 points to 10 in front of 29,000 odd at Marathon.
And a successful penalty goal to number 7, Andrew John. Was Stockland Knights 20, leading the Broncos 10 here at Marathon Stadium. We have mainstay sponsor Tui's Hunter Division has been with the Knights since day one. The level of support has been significant to our club. Tui's
29,359 to be precise. That's an enormous crowd, isn't it? In this day and age. And let me say that that is bordering on capacity for Newcastle. They had to close the gates. And a knock-on will give Brisbane an opportunity. Is the gate being closed on them, or is it about to squeeze open again? Langer feeds his scrum. They wedge it in there, trying to catch a penalty. Walters goes over for Lockyer. Lockyer stands, and Renouf comes back in. He bumps away from one, shoves away from another. And 12 metres out from the line. Renouf hasn't had a lot of opportunities, but what he's done has been classy. This is O'Neill. Plath is a dummy half. Across now for Green. Green thought about passing. Saylor is lurking behind to play the ball. In fact, he's probably playing in the second row position now. Is Wendell Saylor, since he came back from the sin bin. Lazarus plays it. The line is 10 metres in front of Langer. And Langer is put down by Harrigan. The last tackle, and Johnny Plath takes the tackle. It's a penalty. Brisbane get the penalty. What I thought was dumb play by Plath. In fact, he was trying to suck out the penalty, and he got it. He's given his side 6 more shots. Lazarus, and now Langer. McCormack makes the tackle. Johnny Plath in 27, Green in 35. Peden working overtime with Harrigan. Langer, across now for O'Neill into the back line. Tries to stand up the forwards, and now Walters is put away. Newcastle get their line together. Broncos working on the blind side through Darren Smith. Smith is 7 metres out from the line. They've got the entire extremity of the ground, and they look like they're going to use it. They've gone out for Lockyer. The pass goes to ground. It went backwards. This is Blacker. Now Walters. Walters back in for Saylor. And Wendell is put away. Great defence by Newcastle. This is the 5th tackle now. Walters gets a kick in. It's fielded by Grogan. And Grogan will take the tackle on the first for Newcastle.
Well, that's great defence. Brisbane throwing everything at their opposition, but in fact they were forced back, and you've got to take your hat off to Robbie McCormack. He just kept coming up, rushing up, putting pressure on. was even prepared to get to the kicker there and force him into an ordinary one, and that was an easy clean-up for Grogan. Here's the other winger, Gordon, hurt.
There was a groan here for a high shot. Crowd appealed for a penalty. And Grogan, in fact, is it Grogan or Ashley Gordon? It is Ashley Gordon.
Number 12 is Alan Can.
He's been motionless since the tackle. Let's have a look at it. Well, it's Alan Langer. And the tackle probably was as high as some of the tackles that have brought penalties and cautions today. Johnny Plath can't move. Ashley Gordon's collapsed on his arm.
Pat Vine from Elamore Vale. Please go to the Knights office. Pat Vine from Elamore Vale. Newcastle Workers Club on Saturday. Dance the night away with a great band. Choo Choo Chabugi. Doors open at 7:30. The band kicks off at 8. Entries totally
A gag
free.
involving a less than attractive woman. What do you do? You cut your arm off.
Saturday nights at the Newcastle Workers Club. Now making his first grade debut. Ashley Gordon is...
The penalty goes to the Newcastle Knights. And on the halfway line, the tap will be taken. McCormack. He's played strong, as Peter Sterling pointed out. This is Harrigan. He's put a couple of things into his game in the second half, Paul Harrigan, that personally I hope he goes on with. Things like taking it to the line and offloading. Giving them some reason to guess what he's going to do. Adam Muir. He appealed to the coach earlier today to let him play. And I think the coach is glad that he did concede to him. This is Paul Marquette. And McCormack on for Johns, and then a cut-out pass for Ainscough. Gordon, he tippy-toes down the sideline. Oh, look at this. Have a look at this with you. Ainscough scores. Ashley Gordon. I can't believe it.
Oh, Ashley Gordon and Jamie Ainscough, and that try was scored because their defence was so good at the other end of the field. A beautiful pass here from Andrew Johns, cuts out a player, that created the overlap. But Ainscough looked as though he'd thrown the ball too soon, and the beautiful footwork of Ashley Gordon, again wrong-footed Michael Hancock, and the pass back inside might have been some sort of speculator, but it found the mark.
He's fair dinkum Fred Astaire, this bloke. Have a look at this. Fred would be proud of that.
Oh, looks a bit like you on the dance floor, Ravi.
In the dancing pumps.
And Ainscough again having a great season. He was pushed off by Steve Renoff early, but he's done well since.
And number 28 for Newcastle is Stewie Collins. Adam Muir leaving the field.
As if to say, you can't do that. You can't do that. I'm not being disrespectful to Ashley Gordon, but I've never seen him in form like this and doing the things that he's doing. He's related to Houdini. Andrew Johns, 4 out of 4. You'd reckon they've got this match sewn right up now. And Johns with a fine average. 82%. Strikes it. Out she goes. I was about to say he's pushed it too wide, but you don't say that with Andrew Johns. He brings it back on the string. 26-10. They love him here. Love him everywhere, really, in the world of rugby league, Andrew Johns, because he's a class act on the way up. Here he is in position to field the shallow restart.
Yes, it didn't work. And another new face out there for Newcastle, Stuart Collins in 28. Will partner the chief up front, and there is the Newcastle captain, tackled 42 out from his own line. Here's the youngster. It's his first touch. He's wrestling with the ground just in his own territory.
Johns now kicks ahead. They're all on side. Ainscough leads the chase. Julian O'Neill, some work to do. Oh, that's also material for Wayne Bennett.
Smart kick from Andrew Johns, wrong-footed Julian O'Neill. He was looking for the kick down into the corner. He got the bad bounce. He juggled the football, and Ainscough was there to take him straight away.
Well, they're going to savour this victory, Newcastle. Either 1 out of 11 prior to today.
It's going to be a great victory, Ray, when you consider the problems they've had with their personnel coming into this match and the fact that they copped a very, very harsh hiding last Friday night at Bruce Stadium at the hands of Canberra. Well, they've done a great job to regroup from that, but also get through the problems of who was actually going to take the field for them this afternoon.
Johns on and away. Face ball delivered by Egar. Barnes works with Grogan. Grogan, that's off the feet. This will be a try. Yes, Egar. Egar gets the try for Newcastle. It'll give Andrew Johns an opportunity to equal his own record for points in a season.
Well, unbelievable stuff. The one thing about Newcastle this year, they are entertainment plus. Simple backline move here. The cutout pass from Egar. Nathan Barnes, who's been great this afternoon, attracted 2 defenders. Passed back in from Grogan, was deliberately towed ahead by Michael Egar. Nobody in front, grounds the ball beautifully. The game wasn't over before that try, it is now. You can see Renouf attracting both, Blacker and Renouf attracted by the one player that opened the hole up on the inside. And Egar very quick thinking to keep the ball on the boot.
Michael Egar has deputised beautifully for Matthew Johns today. But I was more inclined to make the point that Brett Grogan started the match terribly. He's come back with a couple of very good balls on the inside. That one might have been a bit fluky, but he has played a major part in at least 2 of the tries for Newcastle today. So Andrew Johns holds the record for most points in a season for the club at 162. He set that last year. Will he equal it today with 16 personal points? 20 metres out, 12 metres in from touch, and he's done it. He's done it. He's equalled his own record. Greatest number of points by a Newcastle Knight last year, and he's equalled it today with a mile of matches remaining in the season. Julian O'Neill's kickoff goes out on the full. So nothing is going right for Brisbane.
A 100% record today from Andrew. Newcastle 32, Broncos 10.
Andrew Johns finds the line. As Newcastle will take advantage of a penalty that they probably didn't need. Brisbane trying everything they can. But I'm reminded by the victory of Canberra over Newcastle at Bruce Stadium, and this victory by Newcastle today of this thing called the home ground advantage. Awesome, isn't it? To go to Bruce Stadium, to go to Marathon Stadium, ANZ. That enormous advantage the club's working out of them. You scratch your head and you ponder and you say, why? They don't score the tries, they don't make the tackles, but you get 30,000 Novocastrians, they can give you one hell of a lift.
And that's just added to the problems that Brisbane had coming here. They really haven't been anywhere near their best the last 4 to 6 weeks, apart from probably an 18-minute stint against Parramatta in the second half 2 weeks ago. But their play has just been lacking the poise that we expect from this Brisbane team. Malcolm Reilly, the Newcastle coach, taking this opportunity now to get a lot of new faces out there. Owen Craigie has gone into the game, his debut in first grade, and it will help all of these players to be coming up against the likes of the Langers and the Kevin Walters, the Lazaruses, the Hancocks. They've got a 22-point lead, so they're not going to do any damage to themselves.
A look of despair on the face of Glenn Lazarus. And, Paul Marquette, I fancy, playing the ball underneath all of that. It was he, and then it's Harrigan who puts it down. Johns falls on it, but it was a knock on. And there's some concern, is there, for Harrigan?
He's had a tough afternoon, the big chief. He's taking the ball forward, a little rub of the jaw. He has copped a few high ones. One thing about him, he's kept putting his hand up to take it up. Pretty soon after copping those knocks. Still Retchless in 24 on for Brisbane.
This is Lockyer. He's played alongside Steve Renouf in the centres today. He's done a fair job too. I repeat, it is not an easy assignment to come here and play Newcastle. It's not an easy assignment to go to ANZ and play Brisbane. As it goes across now for Kevin Walters. Just looking at the tackle count for people like Walters and Langer. 24 for Langer, 16 for Walters. That's draining, and it certainly must affect your attacking potential as O'Neill's kick and regather 40 metres out from the Newcastle line. We're inside the last 60 seconds of the match of the round, one of the big matches of the year, as Walters puts the kick in off his left foot. He's turned Ainscough around, but Ainscough just shadows it across the line. Nathan Barnes starts what should be the last set of 6 in the match.
Tonight at 6:30 on NBN, and you can hear a wrap up of all the football games on 11:43.
Rogan. You've got to admire players who start badly. They know they're playing badly, and then get their confidence to come back and they play well. And such is the case for him. Here's the siren. It is all over. The Newcastle Knights have beaten the Brisbane Broncos 32 points to 10. A match probably highlighted by Andrew Johns. 16 personal points, equals his own record of most points in a season for the club. And Andrew Johns is our man of the match for Advance Bank here in New South Wales. $1,000 to young Andrew. Went into the match without his brother today. It didn't nullify what he can do, though. Good game of football. It had everything. Probably the thing that it lacked most was Brisbane playing at their best. He'll sleep all right tonight, the Chief. Tracy, Johns, Tracy again, Ainscough and Egar got the tries for Newcastle. Brisbane, Renouf and Hancock scored. They were kept pointless in the second half. Good effort by Newcastle. Absolutely thrashed by Canberra. Humbled by Canberra. And then they come out and they give Brisbane a whack. So some problems for Brisbane. They've met the 3 heavyweights and they've got 3 fairly good hidings. We'll leave you now. We hope you've enjoyed it. If you've been watching us through pay over in New Zealand and of course in the west of Australia live, we hope you've enjoyed it, and we'll do it again with you next weekend.